I'm telling you now, that the places like that saved my life. If I had to give up on boxing at 17, there's a possible chance I'd be dead. And I remember hearing a crunch, and I thought he'd crushed me for it. Just cried for a couple of minutes in the corner of the dressing room, and I thought, wow, what am I doing? I've got to get myself together. I've lived a dream and I've achieved everything I dreamed in boxing and more. The parts that stick with me most of the failures, yeah, they drive me.
Are we ready to go, lads?
What do you want to know?
Well, actually, I've probably watched about 20 hours worth of your stuff in the last day.
Okay.
Oh, it's been non-stop.
You must be bored shitless. And
Yeah.
Ate the sight of my ugly kipper.
But one thing that I kept hearing over and over again is, I'm a normal guy. And like, you obviously have you talk like a normal bloke from Liverpool.
Yeah.
You also say things like, but I just knew I was capable of being a world champion at certain points. And I'm thinking to myself,
is that normal?
It's just a contradiction in a way, isn't it?
It is, but
where did that self-belief start?
That belief, I've always had that belief in myself. And people used to misplace it. Some people have misplaced it for arrogance. Some people misplace it for overconfidence. Some people misplace it and just think I'm a tit. But I've always believed in myself, only in boxing. Even still to this day, I don't think it's sank in exactly what I've done. Like, I've lived a dream. I've everything I dreamed of doing in boxing, I've achieved it. So part of me is happy because I feel like going around literally to all them people who used to laugh at me.
Do you remember any of them specifically? Did anyone ever laugh in your face? Because obviously once you become a boxer...
No, that didn't really happen much. That didn't really happen. No one really laughed in my face. Yeah. I've heard tons of them talking behind my back. That pisses me off an awful lot, especially people from my own area. People I've helped. That's the only part that breaks me out. That really does annoy me and piss me off and like make me want to attack people. That's the only part that does that to me. It is. Nothing ever like gets to me. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's only happened on a handful of occasions, but it still sticks with me. And the things that stick with me in my career as well are the failures. So
your personal failures.
Yeah, my times I've failed. So as much as I say to you, I've lived a dream and I've achieved everything I dreamed in boxing and more. The parts that stick with me most of the failures, yeah, they drive me. I do dwell on the bad things that I've done, the things I'm ashamed of. We've all done them things, but I just dwell on them. And I don't know why, but I just do. I don't really give myself credit. I don't really say...
That's what makes a champion, though, a lot of the time, innit? Because you're never satisfied.
Oh, I'm definitely never that.
Yeah.
I'm never satisfied. Like, remember, I come into boxing, and the goal was I turned pro because my missus got up the duff. You know, the mortgage was $5 ton a month, and boxing weren't cutting it, and once the baby come, I knew I couldn't give him everything I wanted, and the last thing I wanted to do, I was going out on the street. So I knew it was going to be boxing and stick to this dream. I can be a world champion, but it's very hard when you start in the pro game. You know, you start in the pro game, 3 fights in the first 6 months, I've earned £18,000. I pay me taxes, I pay me trainers' fees, I pay me board fees, I pay me manager. I'm probably left with half of it. And then after 3 fights, I break my hand. I break my hand for the first time in the pros. Promoter didn't pay for the operation. I paid for the operation. I've probably got about £4,000 in the bank, and I've got to live for the next 5 to 6 months on £4,000 with 2 kids, £500 mortgage, the bills, and Christmas coming. And I never had a pot to piss in. I'm just very fortunate I had good friends around me to help me at the time, because that's when I'm on the verge of going out and doing things to earn money and doing whatever I've got to do, because let me tell you, like I said to you before, I'm doing whatever it takes. My kids aren't missing out.
Kids are such a motivator, aren't they?
Without my children and without my missus, I wouldn't be boxing.
I think there's a quote from your mum. People at least attribute it to your mum, but I imagine you've been told that by a lot of people. You're not a boxer. Drop that. And
she told me that when I was younger. I think I started taking it serious at 15, 16. At 16, she said, just leave it alone. You're not tough enough or hard enough to do it.
It's not that you've ignored them, but it's that you've known what you wanted to do anyway.
Well, listen, for me, I had no choice. I knew it was boxing or the life of some bad shit. Like I said to you, all the jobs that I got was to subsidise the dream of being a professional boxer and a world champion. I wouldn't have done all the other jobs. I wouldn't have worked the security. I wouldn't have done in the swimming bath. It was all that. Them jobs was to subsidise this dream of becoming a world champion. If I had to give up on boxing at 17, and people say, oh yeah, you should have could, there's a possible chance I'd be dead. I really do believe that, because I have to be. I would have had no kids, so I took silly risks, and I want things in life. I want the nicer things.
I know what you're saying.
I want the nicer things, and I've got to get them, and I'm going to get them.
You talk about the financial side of things, and how long it's taken you to be like safe in life financially. And then I think about all these lads in gyms up and down the country in America, banging into the heavy bag with a dream.
The percentage of fighters that finish the game financially secure is less than 1%.
Well, there you go then.
Less than 1%.
It's not a good business decision, is it, boxing?
Of course it's not.
Is that why you bought the houses? Is that why you've invested in something else?
Well, if I die in a boxing ring, which is, it wouldn't be a shock, it's happened before, I won't be the first, I wouldn't be the last. If I happen to go in the boxing ring, my kids are secure for life anyway.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the David Haye fight where I became in a position where the family and me was secure, because up until the David Haye fight...
Were you a millionaire before you fought David Haye? Even after the Everton?
Not even close.
Jesus.
I get more in sponsorship in a year than I got to fight at Everton football.
Because you took quite a cut to actually box in Everton, didn't you?
Eddie offered me a deal to go to Africa to fight a Lunga Makabu. He said, it's only Africans have come in with a deal. Will you go to Africa to fight a Lunga Makabu? And it was a fair amount of money. It would have been that me career highest payday. And I went, no. I'd saved up every penny I'd earned from my career, and then I moved to a house in a really nice area that cost a lot of money, but I put it all in the house, because my thing was a lot of shootings in my city where I'm from, and a lot of crime going on, and I'm petrified, lad, and my kids growing up where I'm from. I love where I'm from. I would never put it down. I'm so proud and happy where I'm from. I go back there every single week. Couple of times a week, get my hair cut, my friends there, my own boys are there. I love where I'm from. My kids couldn't survive where I'm from.
It's more frightening now, isn't it?
If it scares me.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a 12-year-old son, he goes out on his bike. Where I live now, it's not perfect. Things happen in the area, but ain't no guns around where I live. Ain't no one carrying knives where I live. It would scare the life of me. Now, once I'm done with boxing, I'd love to be able to help. Like, there's no youth centres anymore. Yeah. There used to be a choice of 5 youth centres when I was a kid growing up.
Didn't you?
The Rec was boss.
Did me research.
Just used to love going there. There was places called The Action, and I'm telling you now, that the places like that saved my life, saved and made us better people, because we went in there and we had respect. Don't get me wrong, we'd have fights now and again in there. Someone would clash, a bad tackle, you chin him, you'd kick him, you fight it, that was it. But we had respect for the elders in there who were running it. So the likes of Rod would go, stop it. Stop it now, and you go, oh, Rod's told me off. Whereas these kids now, they don't fear nothing. They've got this illusion that life is like fucking GTA, and I see so many of them. Like, there's kids shooting kids now in my city, and it's like, they're shooting kids, they're going to the police cells, and they're like, yeah, lad, no comments. This culture's just got out of control.
What about your parents? Because they're separated, didn't they?
Yeah, my parents separated when I was 10.
Can you tell us a bit about them and how they parented you?
I've got a fantastic mother, I've got a fantastic father, both had a number of jobs. My dad left, went to jail, came out.
He was a hard man, wasn't he, your dad?
Yeah, he could really fight, and not just in boxing. Even on a security company, my dad could really have a fight, and I mean really fight. I've stood on doors with my dad and fought alongside him, and he could fight. Like.
What's that like, fighting next to your dad?
It was crazy, but I was working. I was out earning a living. 18 years of age, strapping a bulletproof vest on because people are going to shoot the front door of the nightclub that I was working on. So that's the reality that I've had. Me dad strapping a bulletproof vest to me. Doesn't make me proud, but that's fact, that's life. That's what we do.
Did that help you with the fear of...
I never
the lack of fear now when you're in a boxing ring, because although you're aware of the consequences...
I don't fear anything.
Exactly.
I just don't fear anything.
It was worse.
That's what... I'm saying to you, I don't fear anything, but that's what scares me. I don't fear anything. I just don't, and it doesn't register until probably it's too late, and that's what scares me. Like, carrying on boxing for me scares me. I shouldn't be fighting anymore.
What, even now?
Even now, I shouldn't be fighting. Because what am I fighting for? To prove people wrong? Does it really matter what people think? I'm fighting now to show, I'm fighting this fight because I gave this gobshite me word that I'd give him a rematch. When I beat him, I said, I'll fight you again. He didn't think I would, but I was deadly serious. I told the whole world I'd beat him. No one listened to me. I know the injury plays a factor and whatever have you, but everyone said I was getting put to sleep in 2 rounds. Everyone tuned in to see me get knocked out in 2 rounds. That's what they all tuned in because they believed. No, it didn't. But he sold them all a dream and a fantasy that he was going to comatose me in 2 rounds. And let's be brutally honest, which I am. Everyone paid to see that. Understand that. No one paid to see Tony Bellew outpoint David Haye over 12 rounds. No one paid to see Tony Bellew dance and have a good boxing match with David Haye. People paid to see Tony Bellew unconscious in 2 rounds because that's what David Haye promised. And 99% of his career, that's what he's delivered.
He said at one point, your kids are going to visit you in a coma and all of that.
He said they're going to visit me in hospital.
Yeah, putting that image into your head, what did that do for you? Like, did it motivate you or did it piss you off? How were you feeling?
When he first said that, it pissed me off because we nearly had ended up fighting in the ring, off the ropes, behind the ropes. So they stopped us. They stopped the filming because that's how it said. I said to him, we were sitting there this far away from each other, and I said, David, when it's all said and done, I mean, I don't really care. I think you're the tit. And I was right.
Oh, you absolutely were under his skin.
I was getting on him, and then he went, yeah, whatever. And I just said, but when it's all said and done, David, I'm just going to go home to my family. I'm happy. I don't really care. And he went, you're not. And I went, yeah, but I am. He went, you're not, you're going to hospital. I said, but who's going to send me? You? Do you know someone? And I said, I'm going to send you, they're going to visit you in hospital. And then I sat there and I said, would you want to do it right now? We'll fucking go now. And then he was like, come on then. So we stood and then the security came and we got separated. And that was the old one, but he was always at the moment of, he tried his best, anything he could do to intimidate me. Now, you're not going to get under my skin. I've got fat skin, lad. I've got skin like a rhino's ass. It's tough. You won't penetrate it. So nothing gets under my skin. But he took it too far. He tried to push buttons to see the reaction.
When you mention family, it is the next level.
When you mention me family, it's too far. I mean, I could mention things about his personal life, but I would never do it. There's no place for it in this environment in boxing. It has nothing to do with
and he's game. A dad himself, isn't he? So he should.
He's a father of 2, he's got 2 lovely kids. He just took it too far. And now he won't make that mistake this time because he understands it didn't work. Nothing's going to get under my skin. He tried intimidating me all the way through. Mate, I'm not intimidated by nothing. I've been getting told I'm going to get shot since I was a young'un. I'm hard to beat, mate. And let me tell you, you don't get free shots on me in boxing. There's a reason why I've been at this level for a long time. People can say whatever they want, but the fact is, I believe I've lost 1 fight genuinely, legitimately in my whole career. He underestimated me, and he knows he did. Don't get me wrong, you come into the second fight, this could be over in 20 seconds. And people will look back and go, Tony Bellew's talking shit, and he only won the first fight because of the injury. Look at the end of round 5, I stop and look what I said to him. At the end of round 5, I said, your ass is blowing, you're in deep shit now. And he just laughed. But I knew, I won round 5 and I was coming out for round 6 to really start pushing him back now.
When I was watching the build-up, I remember you are value, like, you are, everyone loves McGregor these days. It was great. Sort of,
he's boss.
You were beating them before the fight almost.
I got the better of the trash. Well, do you say trash talk? I got the better of the verbals.
Well, yeah, because you actually did something really interesting, which is, I haven't seen anyone do before. You gave him a lot of credit, which almost, it was like, well, I'm not lying, because if I was lying, I would tell you, you're a terrible fighter, I'm going to annihilate you in 2 rounds. You went, no, you're a great fighter, but I'm just better than you. Like, you weren't talking like someone was believing his own hype, you were just analysing it sensibly.
I'm not a fantasist, I'm a realist. And a realist looks at accepts what he's looking at. He's a great fighter. He's brilliant at what he does. I can't take that away. It doesn't matter what I do or say.
It's bizarre though, because fighters don't say these things.
Fighters don't say, because they don't tell the truth. They lie to themselves. They kid the bollocks off themselves. It's like, I've seen fighters go, yeah, he does nothing good. What are you telling lies for? He fucking does. He's world champion. Of course he does something good. He's got massive power. He's got great reflexes. He's slick. Okay, he's got bad points too. He tires drastically in second half of fights. His sharpness drops.
I was surprised how much quicker that you seem to be than him.
It's because I'm the quickest person he's ever fought in his life. He's never fought anyone as fast as me, and I'm not regarded for my speed. But remember, I've come from a light heavyweight division where kids are like fucking whippets.
You had his timing down so quickly.
Because I know what he's going to do. Every time he twitches, every time he moves, I've studied him my whole life. He's someone I always thought. I sparred with him 10 years ago because I just knew I'd get to the level one day.
Were you wow, I'm not that far off you here?
Well, I hit him and wobbled him. So, he took a knee, I didn't. He said it was his hamstring. He did pull out on the hamstring in his next fight, but he took the knee, I didn't. And there's witnesses there. David Price was one of them, just ask him. Don't get me wrong, David Price hit him a lot more than I did. David Price hit him. I've never seen it before, never seen it since. David Price hit David Haye in that sparring session, and he hit him so hard, I shit you not, David's standing like this, and David Price hit him with a right hand, and it came over here. He went bump, and David spun. Whoa! He spun a man 360 degrees like this, and then he done a dance. and Price, he stood there as if to say, "How did that happen?" And I screamed at him, "Fucking do him! Hit him! Do him!" I didn't know David at this stage. David Price always been a good friend of mine. And I got in the next round, and then what happened with that? I hit him with a left hook on the side of the head, and then he had to take a knee, and then the next round he was done. He pulled out the fight. He was fighting Mark Hobson, and I knew from mixing with him that day, I'm going to fight you one day, because I made an impression on them. They thought, wow, this kid's an amateur fighting with a pro style. I didn't get in and run away from him. I got in and mixed up. I digged his body. I worked to the head. I fired back. He hit me, and I still think to this day it's probably the hardest I've ever been hit. It's off him or David Price. First round comes out, and I come out and I've done this. And he hit me with an uppercut on the chin. Mate, I didn't even see that. I'll show you once again. I was standing there like this, and as I was standing like this, David was dead relaxed, and I was thinking, right, I'm in the ring with David, I've got to be careful. And I leaned this way, and out of nowhere, I didn't even see it come. This right uppercut just went, fuck off, and it hit me on the chin, and for no reason, my leg just went. And I stood there and I went, good shot, and he looked at me with genuine shock. For no reason, my leg just went and just kicked out like a donkey. And it's never happened to me since. It's never happened again. Don't get me wrong, my legs, I've been hit hard and my legs have defied me. I've hit the floor before today, everyone's seen me go down. But that was the first time I'd ever felt anything like that. And that was, in my recollection, probably one of the hardest I've ever been hit. If we go, me and David, they go into the fight at round 1, he's here, I'm here. Round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, and that's how it'll go. I don't think it plays any role in me saying I admire David Haye as a fighter. I'm a fan of his career. If David Haye was fighting tomorrow, I'd pay to watch him. He's a good fighter. Knocks fuckers out. He's fast, he's dangerous. I'd pay to watch him. He knocks people out, doesn't he? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He talks a good game, but ultimately, he snapped that many muscles, mate. It's fucking ridiculous. He's done both biceps, a pectoral. He's done his shoulder. He's done his hamstring. He's done his Achilles.
Did his toe in the Klitschko fight?
Mate.
But you don't come back from some of those injuries he's had, or not
it's
you,
amazing,
but
isn't it?
Other fighters don't.
It's an amazing. You'd have to ask the question of how has he done it?
And what's his motivation to do that?
I'm just saying.
How has he done it?
How's he done it? I guess we'll just leave that question there.
He's a good fighter, mate. He does what he does. Don't get me wrong. It's been bad when he's, there has been bad times. What he done to Fury was a disgrace.
That was the one that really left a bad taste in my mouth.
That even pissed me off, because I understand how much camps cost.
Yeah.
I understand. Don't get me wrong. You do get injuries sometimes in camps, but we're
talking tens of thousands of pounds going to these camps.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Sometimes over 100. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. My camp doesn't cost £100,000, but it goes into the tens of thousands. So if he was, he's not going to pull out. May the 5th is going ahead. Yeah. But if he was to pull out of May the 5th, that would be the end of him.
He'd be fucked at that point. No one would trust him after that.
He would not. It wouldn't be. Yeah. He's not going to. I know he's not going to. But that would be the end. David fought Arnold, the maggot, I call him anyway. They called him the Cobra. I called him the maggot. He was the worst fighter I've ever seen in my life. David hit him with a jab and dropped him. It was fucking embarrassing. So he fought him.
He has picked some very easy fights in
mate,
his time,
it's criminal.
Honestly.
Don't get me wrong, you've got to give him his Jimmy. It was on a comedy channel, so you've got to take that into comparison. It was on Dave, for fuck's sake. So if it's on Dave and Bullseye's on next, you know what I mean? You've got to take it into consideration. Comedy, then Bullseye kind of fits in. So what happened is then I'd won the world title.
Yeah.
So then I was looking for an opponent to defend my world title. I demanded a voluntary immediately as soon as I won the world title. So I got a voluntary. And the voluntary I wanted was a guy called Dmitrio Kucha. Kucha's a really good fighter. He had one loss to Ilunga Makabu, who I'd just defeated.
Right.
Anyway, Eddie said, I've got a better idea. He said, what about BJ Flossin? I said, oh, not him. This fella's been following me now for years. He turned up at the Cleverly rematch. He turned up at all my fights. He turned up at the Cree Premier, the Geg, the weirdo. He turned up at the Cree Premier. It was embarrassing. Him and Hay turned up together like two pussies. And I said to Eddie, I don't want to face him. He's a tit and he annoys the life out of him. He's been following me for years. He said, Tone, he's Hay's mate. So I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what. If we can get Hay ringside to commentate, I'll fight him. Part of the deal.
Commentators are important.
Yeah.
David Haye commentates for Sky.
Good ones.
David Haye says, BJ Florida's going to knock Tony Bellew out, whatever. He's my friend, he's prepared in my gym, he's done this, he's done that. Sound, no problem. Gets BJ Flores in the ring and just bounces him off the floor like a cat does to the ball of wool. Just slaps him round, drops him 4 times, puts him down. And then David's now left. So this is the ring here. Sky commentators sit here. David chose to sit here on the neutral corner. I only goes to the neutral corner when I'm knocking him down. At this point, I'm boxing like an idiot, by the way. I'm just looking for the knockouts against this clown. I know I can do him. And knocks him down, goes back to the corner, said to David, you're next. He's laughing, he's joking. Knocks him down again, goes back to the neutral corner. I said, David, I'm going to slap and smash you when I get you. Sound goes, drops him again. 3rd time, he's down. Fight's over, and I've said to David, when I get my hands on you, you are dead. Now, you say that in a phrase of, you know, mate, you're fucking dead. You're not really dead, are you? You know what I mean? It's a phrase of use. Don't get me wrong, it's not an appropriate word to use. It's disgusting. You shouldn't use it, but I'd still use it again.
You're in the middle of a fight, though, so I think...
I've got my shorts on. I've just chinned some fella who's trying to chin me. You've literally just had a fight. I've said them stupid things to David. And then David stands up and walks towards the ring. At that point, all hell breaks loose. I kicked the advertising Toblerone at him. It was embarrassing, but it done the job I needed to do. I've never relied on Eddie. I relied on Eddie after I'd done the movie Creed and after the Cleverly fight because I couldn't get myself busy and back out on the road, and Eddie helped me to give me 2 fights back to back. He paid me good money and helped me survive. I have to open my mouth because no one will really care because I can't deliver the knockouts every single time. Sometimes I have to navigate through boring fights, but if people go, I can't stand that gobshite, or if some people go, I think he's great, he speaks sense, or some people go, I really like him, I've seen him with his family, or whatever have you, the reason you like me or hate me, you just want to see me. I just need you to want to
feel something, don't you?
Yeah, you make them feel as something.
Yeah.
Now with Anthony Joshua, it's different. Because people tune in, because believe it or not, there is sadistic people out there, and people like seeing other people get knocked clean out. Don't dress it up any other way. And there's one thing about Anthony Joshua, taking the last fight away, he always delivers the knockout. He's the 2018 Mike Tyson without the controversy. I'm not saying he fights like Mike Tyson, I'm not saying he is as good as Mike Tyson.
But that's the fact, that's the knockout.
So that's what he gives you, mate.
He's just Frederick Tatum.
Just turn up, mate, and he fucking knocks people out. And that's all people really... If you can do what Anthony Joshua can do, you don't even have to open your mouth. Like, Anthony is, for me, he's the best role model to carry our sport. He doesn't need to trash talk. He doesn't open his mouth much. He lets us fight and do the talking. And he can do that because he always delivers the knockout. I've always been known as the mouthy scouser who can't really fight. He talks a great game. He does this, does that, but... As my career's progressed, and since the day I joined Matchroom, the kind of tag that he's a mouthy scouser who can't fight was slowly but surely it left me. Don't get me wrong, it did gain a lot of speed when after the Cleverly rematch. It was the mouthy scouser who's a gobshite who can't fight and who just talks a great game. But
why because of that rematch though?
When it didn't go down well, it was a disaster
People
for my
were
career.
saying it took too long to sort of explode, basically.
Yeah, it just didn't catch fire, the fight. What happened is, at light heavyweight, I used to tire. He came on strong late in the first fight. I thought I'd done enough. It was a really close fight, great fight to watch on TV. It could have went either way, in all honesty. He got the decision. I thought, well, whatever have you. The rematch was the true me and a guy of him who bulked up to make weight. So basically, we're two guys who was at the time stuck in divisions. When he come to cruiserweight, I just bullied him. It wasn't a good fight to watch. I just got him to the ropes, roughed him up. He negated me work, and he just thrown a jab all night.
He asked for another match, but that never happened.
He was pissed.
Yeah?
Yeah, he must have been, because he just...
Well, his career hasn't gone from strength to strength like yours has afterwards either, has it?
Yeah, to be fair, he's proven he's a good fighter. He's been a world-class fighter. I think he was just spent by the time he got to Badu Jack. I just think he was spent. He'd had enough. He'd been disillusioned by the game. Right. Which happens with fighters.
Your biggest loss of your career came when you dropped down to 12 and a half stone.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just looked so depleted in that fight.
I felt it.
I think having all that water weight out of you, it must make every single punch feel 10 times harder.
When I fought Adonis Stevenson in Canada, I'll be honest, the jabs, everything. I just hit a point in my career, I'm not sure exactly how old I was. I think I was about just not long turned 30, going on to 31. It was a killer. Just, And I don't blame weight. I lost to the better man on the night. He was a better fighter than me at that weight. Don't get me wrong. If I fought him at cruiserweight, I'd eat him. Literally, eat him, the little midget. But, you know, he wouldn't. But on that night, mate, I felt every punch he hit me with. And I literally mean, every time he touched me, I could feel it. It shook me to my skull. He hit me in the 3rd round, I believe it was. He hit me so hard on the forehead with a left hand. And I remember hearing a crunch, and I thought he'd crushed me forehead. I remember thinking, what the fuck am I going to do?
When someone hits you like that, and you hear that crunch,
Yeah.
that's the point where most people would sink into like a panic attack or something like that.
Most people would just go take a knee and go, right, I'm
Yeah.
going to like, take a minute to myself. But dickheads like me just go, let's keep going. So I'm an idiot, mate. That's why I fear carrying on fighting. Because I know I'm never going to quit. I can't. I can't go home if I quit.
What goes through your mind in that moment then when you hear a crunch?
Let's fucking fight. Come on.
Just harder.
I shouldn't say the words, but come on, you, let's have it. Yeah, I've just got to fight. I'm in this position now. I can't quit, so I've just got to fight. I mean, after the last fight with David Haye, I had a headache for 4 days. 4 days.
You know the aftermath in that week or two after you've lost the first fight?
Yeah.
What is that like? Because for some fighters, like they seem to just get over it and they don't have the mentality of someone like you maybe, but like what are the 2 weeks like when you're just with your family and that?
After the so I never look at the Cleverly first fight as a loss, so I had no problem. I was out the next day after that. I was smiling, I was laughing and joking because I thought I won.
Yeah.
After the Stevenson fight was the lowest moment of my career. One of them was the lowest moments of my life. After my brother-in-law and after everything else, that's one of the lowest moments I've ever had. I went to bed that night and I just cried myself to sleep. I had ribs that were fucked. I had a headache. My forehead, like I said, I thought it'd been crushed. My hands were a mess. And I just cried myself to sleep. And then I didn't want to be seen. Because I'm someone who, I say something and I believe it. So it was the shame of the losing. I'm also sitting there the next day. I've woke up and I'm sitting there thinking, am I just not as good as I believed? Have I been kidding the bollocks off myself all these years? And you just keep questioning yourself over and over. I've always got a plan in the back of my mind. So my plan was to beat Adonis Stevenson and immediately move up. My target was Bernard Hopkins. Even if I had to give up the belt, I just wanted to become a world light heavyweight champion. Like I say, my world just came shattering down that night. It was hard, mate, to take. And you know, like what you say, there's certain types of people who can come back from that, because I went in the dressing room and seen Isaac Chamberlain after he lost to Lonzo Coley, and I explained to him, you are a kid with so much more talent and ability than I ever had. You've just got to be managed and looked after correctly. And when I say that, I don't mean going out and employ a boxing manager. I'm talking about you personally. Manage yourself better. You know, when I look back at the video, it was heartbreaking to see. He's got people in his dressing room, he doesn't even know them. You come in my dressing room, and I'm sorry to say, it might be a bit regimental or whatever, but everyone's got a job in that room. If you ain't got a job, get the fuck out. I work alone, I train alone. And I always do things like that because I always understand when I get in that ring, I can only rely on me. I come in, I've got a set regime, I'll put my music on. It's my music, I'm putting it on. I put my tape, I do that. I have my food in that place. That's the OCD, I'm a bit of a fucking crackpot, to be honest. But anyone is who gets punched in the face for a living. I'm on my own, and you've got to emphasise being alone, because that's what makes me mentally strong.
One of my favourite moments of your career, mate, was Goodison, after you won.
Oh,
with your little lad in the middle of the ring.
Breaks me heart. That makes me feel like crying when I say it now.
Like,
he's never been to a fight before.
No, it was his first time, wasn't it?
That's the only one he's ever been to.
Yeah.
I would never allow it again. And the only reason I allowed it, Winkle will tell you, I turned up at Goodison and I said to Mrs. Wright, I want my eldest son there. So at the time he was 10. And Corey, his name is, and I said, I can't see him before the fight. I can't even know he's there.
Yeah.
Get him there. So my missus sent him with his cousin and her sister. So he arrived at the ground early, and they were in a private box. But the box is by the tunnel where I walk in. And as I looked out at the ring and I was looking just to get a feel for it, I heard, Dad, Dad, and I thought, doesn't half sound like our Corey, but it can't be, because I told her I cannot see him before the fight. I just couldn't do it. And I turned around and I looked at his little pretty face and I just started crying. And I look back and think about it and I just think, I remember going down the dressing room and Dave, in a state of, Dave shit his pants, little legs. Gary and Dave looking at each other, they said, what the fuck are we going to do? He's crying, what's he crying for? And I said, I've just seen our Corey, and I just cried for a couple of minutes in the corner of the dressing room, and I thought, wow, what am I doing? I've got to get myself together. And then I switched off and I put the low blow on, and then the animal comes out then. That's when I fight with no underpants on, nothing like that. Me bollocks just go straight in the cup holder, and I'm a bit old school like that. Just get them on, and I fight.
Everyone's right watching this right now.
Everyone has special
It's like, oh my
underpants.
God, hanging on here. He's talking about his son. Me bollocks gone in the cup holder.
I put the low
Just
blow
within
on.
a second, just changed
That's
the
how.
cup.
That's exactly how it went. I went from crying, and I thought I've got to switch on. And there was about 10 people in the dressing room, from medics to people from the Sky TV to matchroom people, staff, then my team, and all them people have seen me there crying in the corner of the room, and my head was done in, and I thought I've got to get round, so I just took my pants off, completely stripped off, and put my low blow on, because I always understand when I put the low blow on, that's the groin protector. I'm a different person then. I want to kill everything.
One last question I'd like to ask you. How would you like to be remembered?
I'll get asked that all the time. And I answer it differently every time, so it's never going to make sense.
Whatever you're feeling right now is good.
How would I like to be remembered? Someone who didn't have all the ability and all the talent, but he made what he had work for him. I've definitely over-exceeded. I've definitely overachieved. And I think I've done that by the lifestyle that I've chose to live throughout this business and game. But this, I don't class what I've done as my greatest achievement. My greatest achievements is what I've got at home. That's my greatest achievement. A happy home. That hopefully will last forever. Last longer than my happy home did when I was a kid. So I've already done better than them.
Nice one, mate.
So that would be the best thing.
Thanks very much, pal.
Thank you
Honestly,
very much.
you're a legend, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
Pleasure.
Nice one.